Hey guys, welcome back to the cookie jar. Today we are doing the 7th cake recipe, the final one. It is Rose's famous coconut cake with a coconut glaze. It is this page as well as these 2 pages. So there are a lot of notes on this. The first one's a note from Hannah. Rose McDermott called to give me this recipe the day before I had to turn everything into our editor. This has come close to convincing me that the man in the red suit with the sleigh is real. Tracy asked for 7 things in her letter to Santa and she got 3 of them. If she gets that puppy she wants, I'm a believer. I believe they're referring to the Lake Eden cookbook. The last one that has nothing to do with the recipe really is, Mother's been after Rose for years to use my chocolate glaze on this cake. You can find it in Lady Hermione's Hannah's chocolate sunshine cake recipe. She even took Rose the recipe. Rose liked it a lot and now she offers 2 cakes, one with coconut glaze and the other with chocolate glaze. For this, we'll be doing another bundt pan recipe. It is 325 for the oven temperature. So for the cake, you're gonna need 1½ cup softened butter, 3 sticks, 2 cups white granulated sugar, 4 eggs, 1 cup sour cream. You can substitute plain yogurt for a lighter cake. It also has a note, measuring sour cream is messy. It's easier just to buy the 1 cup half pint container and use the whole thing. It needs ½ a teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of coconut extract. If you can't find it, you can use vanilla. 1 3/4 cups flour, not sifted. 2 cups flaked or shredded coconut. Pack it down when you measure it. More is better in this recipe. So you're gonna grease and bundt pan, then flour it. I'm gonna use the spray that already has it in it because it worked so much better last time. It says you can mix this cake by hand, but it takes some muscles. It says put the flour and the coconut in a food processor. You don't have to do this if you don't have a food processor, but most folks like it better. I guess we'll be bringing out the food processor for this. For the coconut glaze, it has a note that if you can't get it smooth, you may need to heat it for 30 seconds or so in the microwave on high and then stir it again. Yeah, then you just drizzle it over. And of course, it has the usual note. If it's too thin, add powdered sugar. Too thick, add cream. So, let us get into the kitchen and get started. Everything's all laid out. Here is everything we're going to need today for the cake and the glaze. Okay, so because it is freezing cold right now, I put this butter on the counter last night and it was still rock solid. So I popped it in the microwave for a minute at half the power to get it, melty-ish. At least enough that I can actually use it. What we need to do first is take care of our bundt pan. So we got to spray it liberally. There we go. Nice and taken care of. Now we have the butter and the sugar. So that's 3 sticks of butter to 2 cups of sugar. All right, now we're going to start adding the eggs. So one at a time? Yeah, one at a time. And the last one. Next thing I want to do is try to scrape everything down before we start adding in everything else. Next thing we're adding is our 1 cup of sour cream. The ½ a teaspoon of baking powder. The teaspoon of coconut extract. Now we're gonna get that mixed. Okay, so scrape everything down because we're done with this for right now. I don't have an actual food processor, so this is supposed to be one of those 3-in-1 things. I don't know. I keep telling myself I'm gonna buy a food processor, like a little one, but I never do. So it wants us to put our 1 3/4 cups of flour with our 2 cups of coconut. And it says to process this until it looks like fine cornmeal. I don't know if you can really see that. We're gonna call that good because that just looks like flour again at this point. So it says to add half of our coconut flour mixture. So now we add the rest until it is thoroughly combined. Not what I meant to do, but it'll work all the same. Just scrape it down, give it one last final mix with the spatula, and then it says to let it rest for 5 minutes before putting it in the bun pan. Which, maybe, I don't know the science. I don't know the science behind that, I don't, but it says it, so we're gonna do it. I wonder if it's like letting the gluten in the flour relax, like with pie dough. That's the only thing I can come up with as to why you would want it to hang out for 5 minutes. So now that it's rested for 5 minutes, we're gonna take our handy dandy sprayed pan and we are going to pour it into the bun pan, smoothing with a rubber spatula. So that's what we're going to do right now. It is thick. There is no actual pouring this. This is more scooping in than pouring. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. All right, now we have to try to clean it up a little bit and smooth it out at the same time. This is what it looks like. I tried to smooth it out as best I could. It is very thick batter. It's gonna bake at 325 for 60 to 70 minutes until a skewer comes out clean. Okay, so it has been 25 minutes. This is what we pulled out of the oven. And then it recommended to let it sit for 25 minutes. And then it says to run a knife around the inside edges of the cake to loosen it, and don't forget to loosen it around the funnel in the middle of the pan. Perfect. Perfect. Try to center it a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna set this aside. So the next thing is the coconut glaze. We have the cup of powdered sugar, the 1/4 cup of cream, and the teaspoon of coconut extract. Okay, so it wants us to add the heavy cream and the teaspoon of coconut extract and stir this until it is smooth. So just like pretty much all the other glaze. And then once again, this cake does not say it has to be refrigerated. So I'm really curious, in the 3 bundt cakes it has had, the chocolate cake was not refrigerated. The coconut cake does not have to be refrigerated. So why, out of curiosity, did the poppy seed cake have to be refrigerated? I don't understand that. You would think, because all 3 have the glaze with the cream in it. So is that or is that not a part of it? I don't understand. Now that we have our coconut glaze on, it says to sprinkle the cake with coconut before it dries. All right, finally ready to eat. Try. Okay. Getting nice. Final thoughts. It is nice. I think the coconut flavor is actually stronger in the glaze and the raw coconut you put on top than it is in the cake. It's a lot more subtle in the cake. It's still there, but it's more of a background note. The cake itself, I feel like, is heavily influenced by the sour cream. And I know I've had sour cream in baked goods before. It normally blends right in, you don't taste it. But with this one, I don't know if it's because there's nothing really to mask it or if it's just the ratios, but I feel like it's that tangy sour cream stands out more, which, I mean, I like sour cream. I don't have a problem with it. My husband hates sour cream. So whether or not he will like this enough to eat it, I don't know. It heavily reminds me of a Mounds bar. And I feel like if you would put the chocolate icing and then you could put like some almonds, you would have yourself an Almond Joy cake. You would like crush up or ground up some almonds, crush, I would go with crush, and sprinkle them on top instead of the coconut. You'd have yourself an Almond Joy cake, which I'm sure is delicious as well. I might try that one day. Overall, it's a delicate, well-balanced cake that is really delicious. If you like coconut. If you don't like coconut, you have no business making this cake to begin with. So, like I said, that is the last cake recipe for this book. After that, I think there are 3 pie recipes. The one we'll be making next week is called a coconut green pie, which I've never heard of before. I have no clue what is in store for that. I really don't. It could be the weirdest thing. It has a weird name. Let's start with that. After that, I think there's a pecan and a pumpkin pie. So, with those, join us in the next couple weeks to see them all be put together. And I will hope you lovelies have a good week. Bye-bye.